have so much to talk about today. Many topics. Space madness, smoking, public transport, people stealing Mr. Duncan's lessons, Christmas, Princess Diana, and obsession. All of that coming today on English Addict, live and direct from the birthplace of the English language. You know where it is. We all know where it is. It is England. We are back together again. It is so nice to see you once more right here. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? That is the big question I want to ask straight away. Are you feeling happy today? I hope you are feeling happy because we are here again, and it is so nice to join you once more live. Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time is when I'm here with you. I hope you are having a good weekend, and I hope you are ready for 2 hours of fun. Yes, it is true. These days, I know a lot of people like to say that you can't have fun, but you can. You can still have a laugh. You can still have a little bit of fun. It is not illegal. It is not against the law to have a little bit of fun. For now, anyway. So here we go again. My name is Mr. Duncan. I talk about English. I am here on YouTube every Sunday, and I am one of these right here. I am an English addict, and I have a feeling perhaps you are one of those as well. We are all here together. I received something yesterday through my letterbox. Can you see this? This is something you don't see very often anymore. This is something you don't see very often. This is a postcard, and I remember growing up, people would go away on holiday, they would visit a place, and then they would send a postcard to their friends or family to tell them about their holiday, how they are enjoying their time away. You don't see them very often nowadays because, of course, many people send emails, or maybe they contact through their mobile phones, for example. So postcards are quite rare these days. You don't get them very often, even though some people still enjoy sending them, and a lot of people, of course, enjoy collecting them. So this particular postcard, can you guess where this was sent from? Have a close look. You might be able to see it. This came all the way from Australia, from our lovely friends Sonia and Brent. Now, here is the strange thing. They actually returned from Australia last week. So they've been back in the UK for around about 5 or 6 days. This postcard arrived yesterday. So it took longer for this postcard to arrive than it did for my friends to come back. So they've actually arrived back in the UK, but we only received this particular card yesterday. Anyway, thank you very much, Sonia and Brent, for your lovely postcard all the way from Australia. A lot of people refer to Australia as Oz because it's just the abbreviation of Australia. We often say down under. So when a person goes to Australia, especially if you live in the north of the world, you go down under. So thank you once again for your lovely postcard, and all the wonderful information on the back. Now, can I just tell you about my friend Sonia? She is the most amazing person, because whenever she sends a card or maybe some letter in an envelope, she always likes to add lots of little things herself. She is very creative. She is very good at painting and drawing and designing things. So quite often our friend Sonia will actually put things on the envelope and create things herself by drawing them. So thank you very much for that. It is interesting when you have creative friends. And quite often those friends can be very influential as well. So they can influence you into doing something creative as well. So we are here today. Thank you for joining me. The live chat is up and running. I wonder who is first on the live chat. Oh, once again, he is back on the top. His fast finger has been exercising. I think so. You've been working out. You've been training your finger to make sure that it will click on Sunday. And yes, all of that hard work has paid off, because Vitas, you are first on today's live chat. Congratulations to Vitas. You are first on the live chat. In second place we have Beatrice. Hello Beatrice. I hope you are well. We also have Maruts and also Maruzio. Maruts is watching in Poland. Hello Poland. Nice to see you here. And also Maurizio is watching in Italy. So I don't want to get those two things confused, because it's very easy, you see, for me to get confused by things. You may have noticed. Claudia is here today. Hello, Claudia. Watching in South America. We also have Michela. Hello, Michela Banoli. Hello to you as well. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Who else is here? Inaku is here as well. Mitra. Hello, Mitra. Nice to see you back with us. Astrid. Hello, Astrid. I don't recognise your name. Is it your first time on the live chat? Please let me know. Astrid, who is watching in Chile. Hello, Chile. Talking of which, I know it's a different spelling, but it's very chilly here in the UK. It's quite cool today. Who else is here? Alessandra, Rosa, Josep. Hello, Josep. Mr. Duncan, you don't look the same. Why? Why do I look different? In what way do I look different? You don't look the same, Mr. Duncan. What has happened to me? Please let me know. Do I look different? Don't ever say that to me, by the way, because I will become very worried. In fact, you might say that I will become obsessed. Ooh, we are talking about that subject today. We're talking about being obsessed by things, creating or developing an obsession for something. We will talk all about that a little bit later on. I suppose I should mention, coming up today, of course, he is here today. Mr. Steve will be with us in around about 15 minutes from now. So don't worry, for all those fans of Mr. Steve, do not worry. Mr. Steve will be here at around about 2:30. So you have been warned. Maybe you don't like that sort of thing. We will see what happens. Anyway, Mr. Steve will be with us. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of things to look at. Harvest season is here. Many farmers at the moment are harvesting. They are out and about harvesting. I noticed yesterday there was a farmer very close to where I live. He was doing his harvesting in the field Would you like to have a look? Okay, here we go. So there yesterday I filmed this from the house, looking out across one of the fields near my house, and you can see harvest time has arrived. One of the farmers there is harvesting. Now I think that might be wheat in the field. I think he's harvesting the wheat. So that is what he is doing. So it is safe to say that harvest time has definitely arrived. And as if we needed proof, there is one of the farmers harvesting his crop. I'm pretty sure that is corn. I think so. And the thing he's using is a combine harvester. So that particular piece of equipment is called a combine harvester. It is used for gathering the seeds or gathering the grain that grows in the fields. So it is definite, it is now a fact that harvest time has definitely arrived. And many of the farmers are busy in the fields at the moment. Oh, by the way, there is something else I forgot to mention. I'm going to mention it now. Of course, we have a brand new month. Goodbye, August. Hello, September. September is here again, and I suppose you might say that the year is already coming to an end. The year is approaching its conclusion, you might say. September. Now, I always think when September arrives, the rest of the year goes by quickly. I think so. So as soon as September comes, I think the rest of the year always seems to go by very fast. I don't know what you think. Already, now this is something we're going to talk about later. Already people are talking about a certain thing that happens at the end of the year. I think you know what I'm talking about. A certain season that comes at the end of the year. Already. It is only the 1st of September and already people are talking about Is it too early? Is it too early to talk about? We'll discuss that later on, I think, when Mr. Steve joins us on the live stream. We'll also talk about going into space. It would appear that we are once again sending human beings into space. Not very far into space, just to and from the International Space Station. Or at least they are supposed to. Have you seen the news about those 2 astronauts who are stuck on the International Space Station? They can't get back, so they have to wait a little bit longer. I think they were only supposed to go there for a few days, but now they've been there for a few months, and it looks as if they're going to be stranded on the International Space Station for quite a long time. But it would appear that we have once again started talking about sending human beings up into space. What else are we talking about today? Oh, I know. You may remember a few days ago I mentioned that some of my English lessons have been stolen and put onto DVD. In fact, this happened many years ago. but I did find out that someone in Russia has been selling my lessons on DVD. And today I'm going to show you the actual DVD. I have it. Not the actual CD, not the actual DVD, but I do have a picture of the cover. So we will look at that later on as well. Anything else to talk about? Yes, we are talking about obsessions today. All about things that you can think about, maybe something you are keen on, maybe something you enjoy doing, but sometimes it is possible to become obsessed about it. So we will talk about that as well later on. Maurizio says, I have to go now because my little granddaughter has arrived. That's okay, because you can watch this again. Don't worry, it is all right by me. I really want to find out why I look different today. What have I done? Do I look a strange colour? Do I look unwell? What is it? Please let me know. You look different today, Mr. Duncan. I want to know why. Here's an interesting thing. Now, I am always interested in human behaviour and human psychology. I love those sorts of topics. And I was reading a very interesting article the other day about a certain type of psychological feeling that you can get. And apparently it is something that many people have been talking about recently for various reasons. And the thing I'm going to talk about for the next few moments is something called the Mandela effect. Have you ever heard of this? The Mandela effect. It is a type of psychological thing. It is something that people might feel or think. The effect of something, quite often concerning an event or a thing that may or may not have happened. So here we go. What is the Mandela effect, Mr. Duncan? The Mandela effect is a phenomenon in which people collectively misremember facts, events, or details in a consistent manner. So this means that many people believe something or feel that something happened that actually didn't. Or maybe they feel as if they've seen something or experienced something that they didn't. It's a very interesting area of social psychology. So we call this particular thing the Mandela effect. In a moment I will tell you why they call it that. An event or occurrence that people think happened but did not actually occur. They misremember. They imagine that something happened when it didn't. To turn a confused moment into reality on a large scale. So we are not just talking about one person feeling this. We are talking about many, many people in society feeling the same way, as if they have experienced something or seen something, or they feel that a certain type of information is true or not. But not just one person, but many people. So it does normally affect lots and lots of people in various different ways. So let's have a look at some examples of the Mandela effect. Here is one. This is a movie that a lot of people imagine that they've seen, but in fact they haven't. So this particular actor, you can see on the front of the video cover, is a guy called Sinbad, a very well-known comedian, and he has acted in movies. This movie was never made. It doesn't exist. But a lot of people believe, or they feel, as if they've actually seen this movie. But it doesn't exist. It's never been made. It is the Mandela effect, the feeling that you've seen something or experienced something that never actually happened or does not exist. So here is a very good example of that. A movie that apparently came out in the 1990s, and lots of people believe that they've seen it, but they haven't, because it doesn't exist. It's never, ever been made. Here's another one. Oh, this is a good one. Another example of the Mandela effect. Many people believe that they have seen a picture or a painting of Henry VIII eating a turkey leg. Many people believe that when they think of Henry VIII, they think of an image that they feel as if they've seen of Henry VIII eating a turkey leg. Guess what? There is no picture. There is no image. This is something I made on the internet using AI. So this is not a real painting. This is something I've created to make the point. However, there is no portrait. There is nothing from history, nothing from the past that shows Henry VIII eating a turkey leg. Never been done, never been seen. It doesn't exist. Another example of the Mandela effect. The name Mandela effect comes from the widely believed notion that Nelson Mandela had died in the 1980s. Now, of course, he has now passed away, sadly, but way back in 2009, he was still alive. And someone said in a post on the internet that they believed he had died in the 1980s. And then many other people also expressed the same opinion. They also thought the same thing. Hence the phrase, the Mandela effect. So it is possible to believe that you've seen something or experienced something, even though it never actually occurred in any way whatsoever. The Mandela effect refers to a situation in which a large mass of people believe that an event occurred when it did not, or of course the opposite. So you might believe that something happened when it didn't. You might believe that something did not happen when it did. So there are many ways of expressing it. A person might be thought to be dead when they aren't. So you might imagine that someone famous is actually dead when they're still alive. And of course the other way round. They might be thought of still living when they are not. Here's a good example. Many people mistakenly believe that Neil Armstrong is still alive. Sadly, he passed away in 2012, but there are people who still believe that he's still alive. They actually didn't realise, or they were not aware that he had passed away. So there is another good example of the Mandela effect. It is common for us to misremember things, especially as time goes by. And I think this is a very good point to make, because it is possible to misremember things, especially as time goes by, especially as you get older, as you experience more things. You might believe that something happened that didn't. Sometimes you can misremember things. You can imagine that something happened when it actually didn't. And this can happen to many, many people. And sometimes the thing they imagine is the same thing. Hence, the Mandela effect. It is quite a fascinating part of human behaviour. Talking of which, we have a very fascinating part of human behaviour coming up in a few moments, because He will be with us in a few moments. Of course, we are talking all about Mr. Steve. He will be with us in around about 3 minutes from now. Nessar says, I think because you have no beard, you are looking different. I never have a beard. I've never had a beard. I've only had a beard a couple of times in recent years. But I don't have a beard. I've never had a beard. I've had one for a short time, but I've never had one for a long period of time. Talking of which, I think the fashion of having a beard is starting to disappear. But no, I don't normally have a beard. So I don't know why you think that, but I don't have a beard at all. So Mr. Steve is on his way. We have a lot of things to talk about today, including obsession. Do you have a certain type of obsession? That is one of the many things we are talking about today. Keep it right here. English Addict is live right now. Enjoy the rest of the show. English Addict is with you today. We are back, everyone. English Addict is with you today, and he is coming up right now. A lot of people tend to tune in around this time. I've noticed there are many fans of this man. Here he comes, everyone. Are you ready? It is the one, the only, the unmistakable Mr. Steve.
Hello, beautiful people from across the world. Here we are once again, or here I am once again, because Mr. Duncan's been here all week, preparing lessons, doing all sorts of things for your education in the world of English.
That's one way of putting it.
Oh, it's great to be here again, Mr. Duncan. Thank you for all your lovely messages of welcome, which we get every week. By the way, we've got somebody new on today from Sudan.
Oh.
We've got Osama Healer, who has made a comment. So they've been watching you since 2016. But this is the first time they've come on the live stream. So welcome. Please feel free to make comments, ask questions about English, that is. We do get lots of questions. Quite often they're about our personal lives,
yes,
which sometimes we will answer. We don't mind. But sometimes we won't. But
it just depends. Yes. It depends what mood we're in.
Depends what mood we're in, and try and keep it to English if you can. But we don't mind if you ask anything else.
Yes, we do get some strange questions. I must admit, one of the things about being in the public domain, as we are, is you do get a lot of strange questions. Sometimes people will ask all sorts of interesting questions and sometimes very weird questions. Anyway, yes. We are here. Mr. Steve, you look good. You look great today. A lot of people were saying that I look different today.
Different?
There are people who believe that I have a beard normally. And I don't know why you would think that I normally have a beard.
They probably mean that sometimes you don't, or you might have what we call a 5 o'clock shadow.
Oh.
That you don't always shave before coming onto the live stream. So they don't mean a full beard. I think they just mean stubble.
Oh, I see.
The sort of something that men get if they don't shave for a few days. You get this stubble, this sort of small growth, don't you? We call it stubble.
Yes, it normally looks like a shadow on your face, doesn't it?
That's it. But you've had a shave this morning.
I normally do,
Mr. Duncan.
Can I just say, I always have a shave before I do my live stream. I always do. So I don't know maybe the light is more flattering today. I don't know. But I've noticed that fewer and fewer men are now having beards. They seem to be shaving them off. Have you? Young people. You don't see many younger people now with beards. I think that fashion is slowly moving away. It's moving back towards the clean-shaven face.
These fashions come round, don't they? Everyone kept saying to me, why don't you have a beard? The people at work, because everyone's got beards. Well, they did. I think you're right, Mr. Duncan. I think it went through, in England anyway, I don't know about other countries, it was this fashion for many years now, 5 or 10 years, for men to grow a beard, which is fine. It's fashion.
But they're very
popular. It's going now.
They're very popular in Iran and Afghanistan.
Well, yes, we know the reason for that.
Hello to who is going now? Did you say, Steve?
Who is what going? No, nobody's going. I think Maurizio's had to go.
Maurizio has his granddaughter coming today. Can I also say, absent today is Luis Mendez, because he has some personal things to deal with, and he won't be here today, unfortunately. So that is a shame. Also, Christina is not here today because she is out and about on her bicycle, riding around in the lovely hot sunshine. And I have to say, I am a little bit jealous because it's cold here today. It's actually very cool. But then it is September, Mr. Steve. It's September.
September.
You know what that means? That means the year is now coming to an end. And you know also what that means. That means, rather
Christmas?
Annoyingly, people are going to start talking about this.
What? Oh.
Already. Now, I was watching TV yesterday and I saw one of these programs where they encourage you to make your own things. And they were telling people how to make their own Christmas cards. I nearly threw something at the TV screen because I was so angry. Is it too early for Christmas? Already in the shops, you might not believe this, Mr. Steve, but already in the shops there are mince pies, and it does have the Christmas design on the front, and it's September the 1st. So for you out there in YouTube land, is it too early for Christmas? Surely the answer to that question, Steve, must be yes.
Well, some people, I've got friends that have already started buying Christmas presents, particularly people who maybe have large families with lots of children and grandchildren. Then they might have to buy presents for, what a nightmare this is, they might have to buy presents for sort of 20 people or more. So it's no good waiting until a week before Christmas to do that. So, but it's got out of... Anyway, we're not going to talk about that.
But it is interesting that some people are already talking about it. It's almost as if something in their brain goes click, and suddenly they are in Christmas mode. But it's only September, everyone. Please, not yet. It's too early. It's too early for Christmas.
Hola, Astrid. Thank you for that greeting. And Nisa says, my smile is pretty. Okay, I'll accept that.
Yes.
I'm not going to complain.
You
wouldn't normally say a man's smile is pretty.
I think so.
I suppose I know, but you don't normally say that, do you? Just a nice smile. You might say a woman's smile is pretty. Maybe you think of me as a woman. I don't know.
I
don't mind. It's a compliment, so I'm quite prepared to take it as it is.
These days, Steve, you know what it's like nowadays. I think men can be pretty if they want.
Some men are definitely pretty.
Okay, I was going to make a point there.
Carry on.
That some men can be pretty because, of course, a lot of men these days do use cosmetics and makeup and moisturiser. So I think a lot of men do try to look attractive and, dare I say, pretty. So I don't think it's a bad thing to say that Mr. Steve has a pretty smile. Talking of pretty things,
yes,
we had a lovely walk yesterday. We had the most gorgeous walk in Much Wenlock. And I'm going to show you some clips of yesterday because I have to say it was the most wonderful moment. We went up to a place that we did a live stream from recently near the windmill here in Much Wenlock. And this is the place. So this is where we were yesterday. You can see that they've been cutting the grass and there is the old windmill. And this particular area is rather nice. You get a lovely view over the Shropshire Hills, but also you get a nice view over Much Wenlock. And there it is, the old windmill. I can't begin to tell you, Steve, how many people have asked me questions about the old windmill in the comments. So the comments have been very intrigued, let's just say. And of course the raspberries are out. I keep saying raspberries, but they're blackcurrants, aren't? Are they raspberries?
They're blackberries.
Blackberries. I always get them confused. So they are out.
Blackberries are that black colour and raspberries are red.
Okay. And you can see there are lots of bales of grass that have been collected, ready to feed to the animals. So this was the place where we did the live stream from about 3 weeks ago. And if you continue looking, you will see something very interesting. This is the first time I've ever showed this. So look at this. So this is the place that we mentioned a few days ago. And this is a large disused quarry. But as you can see, it is now full of water. And this particular place is very popular amongst young people during the summertime because they will often go in there and have a swim. In fact, it has a nickname, doesn't it, Steve? A lot of people refer to it as the Blue Lagoon.
Yes.
So they often go there to have a swim. Of course, it is very dangerous to do that because you might jump in and maybe you hit your head on a rock or something that's been thrown in there. So you do have to be careful. But it is the most amazing place. And that is the first time that I've ever shown it on the live stream or even on any video. And I can't believe we've lived here, Mr. Steve, for 11 and a half years. And that's the first time I've ever taken a picture or a video clip of that actual place. But it was wonderful, a very wonderful moment yesterday, wasn't it?
It was. The weather was nice. Those blackberries, I was actually eating them straight off the plants, which was a bit of a risk because normally in the UK, a lot of people pick blackberries because they want to make them into jam. Blackberry jam. It's very popular. Well, it is around here.
Yes.
If you've got wild blackberry bushes, you go out around this time of the year and you pick the blackberries, but you would normally wash them first.
Yes.
I used to go picking blackberries with my mother, and she used to make blackberry and apple stew, and then we'd have it with custard. Oh, it was delicious. And of course, they're very good for you. Blackberries are full of vitamin C. They've got all sorts of antioxidants in them.
Good.
But there's always a risk of eating them straight off the plant that some insect has crawled on them and, you might pick up some bacteria or something. But I was fine.
Yes, you seem okay. You're still here with us.
I'm still here and I feel full of energy. Maybe that's the wild blackberries, Mr. Duncan.
Talking of jam, we have the most amazing crop of damsons in the garden. Would you like to have a look at them? Here they are. So this is actually outside right now. I filmed this earlier. And look at that. The tree at the moment, I don't know what's happened this year, Steve. The all of nature seems to have gone crazy this year. And there are so many damsons on Mr. Steve's damson tree. In fact, I have a feeling, Steve, you are going to be very busy. In a couple of weeks from now, you will be making your own jam.
I will be making the damson jam. I made 35 jars last year, and we've got about 6 left because I put it in my yogurt. I put it in yogurt, mix it in with yogurt, because they're very good for you because they've got dark skins. That's supposed to be good for you. As Farry Bortz has said, the blackberries reduce inflammation and prevent cancer.
Oh.
The only risk I was worried about was eating them straight off the plants because there were flies on them and you don't know where those flies have been.
That's it. But look at that. Look how many damsons there are on the tree this year. I think this must be the largest number of damsons we've ever had.
So.
I think so. It's quite amazing. So
Farry Bortz says, is it like a plum? Yes, it is a type of plum.
Smaller.
Slightly smaller and darker, and they're a bit more bitter. They're not as sweet as a normal plum would be. They're a bit more bitter, and which is why they're better made into jam.
I don't like them.
People will normally eat plums. You might stew plums and eat them as a dessert, but you don't tend to do that with these. I can't remember what they're called, damsons, because they're a bit more bitter. You have to have had lots of sugar. Yeah. Some people do. They will stain your clothes very much. They used to be grown a lot in this area. Specifically, they were only grown to be made into dye for dyeing clothes.
So if you wanted to make
intense.
If you wanted to make white cloth a different colour, you could use different types of fruit, such as damsons. So that colour, if you get it on your clothes, it will never ever wash out.
Yes, it was used for making dye, but they don't do that anymore.
So that is one of the wonderful things about living in this area. There is always something to see. Nature is everywhere when you live in the countryside. So I have to say, it was absolutely gorgeous yesterday, even though I have to say, I'm going to say something now, the days are getting shorter already. Night time is slowly getting earlier and earlier. So about a month ago, you could stay outside until maybe 10:30 at night, and it would still be light. But now it's starting to get dark at around about 7 o'clock in the evening instead of 10:30. So I'm going to be honest, Mr. Steve, I am not looking forward to this winter. I don't know why. I just don't feel as if I'm very happy about it. I wish summer could stay with us all the time, because we had such a good summer this year when you think about it.
Maybe we should spend the winter months in Italy, because I wonder what temperature it goes down to in Italy. If somebody's watching from Italy or Portugal, southern European countries, what temperature is the lowest that it gets in winter?
Well, of course, northern Italy, you can have snow.
Up in the mountains.
Up in the mountains. A lot of people like to go to Italy during the winter to enjoy the Italian, the Alps. And what else? I suppose the other thing about this time of year is just, I don't know, it just feels like another year is coming to an end. January came, Steve, and I remember January because it seemed to go on forever. And then February came, and that's a strange month because we have your birthday in February. And then it was March, April, May, June, July, August, and here we are suddenly in September. And as I said, it always feels as if the year speeds up when we get to September.
It does.
So
Astrid asks, what is the winter like in the UK? Well, it can vary a lot. It can be, we normally get a frost, so it's rare for it to go below -5 for maybe a few days. It can go down. I've seen it as low as sort of -13, -15. That's quite rare. Normally winters are fairly mild because we've got the Gulf Stream. But they would probably average around sort of 7 to 10 degrees, something like that, winter.
Yes.
With occasional periods where we might get frost and snow.
We've had some harsh winters, but not every winter is harsh. I remember one of the worst. I think it might be I think it's still the worst winter we've ever had here in the UK was way back in 1963. The Big Freeze, as they called it. And there was so much snow that no one in the country could go out. Everyone was stranded and stuck in their homes. And I think that was in 1963. They called it the Big Freeze. And there was so much snowfall that everywhere was covered. The roads were blocked. Cars couldn't move from one place to another. So that meant that food couldn't be delivered. And quite often the power would fail. So some people were stranded and stuck with no electricity. And apparently that's still the worst winter we've ever had. And a lot of people always reminisce. They remember the winter of 1963. Well, not me, because I wasn't born then.
A lot of people in the UK go on holidays to islands out in the Atlantic, southern, just off the African coast. Don't know. I'm trying to think of the name of one now. What's that popular one that people go to in the UK? I think it might be a Spanish island or a Portuguese island, and it's a popular. I can't remember the name of it now. It's one of those islands. It's got a volcano on it. I can't remember. My brain's not working.
Is it Crete?
No, it's I can't remember the name of it now. A lot of people fly there for winter sun.
There are literally hundreds
in
of
the
islands.
UK. It's sort of just off the West African coast somewhere.
Okay.
Or the Portuguese coast.
So it's somewhere on planet Earth.
It's somewhere. If I think of it, I'll let you know. But the locals don't like the British going there anymore because it's just too touristy
It's
now.
not Cyprus, is it?
No, it's on the west coast of Portugal somewhere.
Okay. What a
out in the Atlantic.
This is fascinating.
I know, I can't remember it. Anyway, you've got a lot to talk about today, haven't you, Mr. Duncan?
Can you believe it? Yesterday was the 31st of August. Can you believe it's 27 years, Mr. Steve? 27 years since Princess Diana was tragically killed in that car crash. and we all remember where we were, don't we? And
We do.
It 27 years ago. I can't believe it was all those years ago. And I still remember it. It feels as if it only happened maybe 10 years ago, but in fact it's 27 years ago. So that happened yesterday, and I was quite interested to notice that no one is talking about it, or people tend not to think about it or remember it anymore, which I always find quite fascinating, because I remember at the time, and I'm sure you do, Mr. Steve, a very strange moment, wasn't it? Because everyone was so shocked, and it seemed to change the landscape of emotion here in the UK. Everything seemed grey and dark, even though we were in the height of summer. But it was a huge event at the time. I do remember how shocked and distraught everyone was. And of course,
I think now, Mr. Duncan, that because it's such a long time now, it'll only be remembered at the specific times, like 25 years or 30 years now,
Yes.
or 40 years. It won't be remembered every year now because it's too long ago.
so we have to wait until 2027.
That's it. Lewis is on, by the way.
Yes, Lewis will be coming in and going out. Hello. Shall I say hello now to Lewis Mendez? Is here right now. Hello, Lewis. Nice to see you here. I wasn't sure if you were here today or not, so it is good to have you on the live chat.
And Beatrice is here as well. I've seen Beatrice. Hi, Beatrice.
Mhm.
Madeira is what Lewis has suggested, as has Marianne. I wasn't thinking of Madeira, but that is a place people go because that's further south. But there's another one. It's got a volcano on it. It's very popular. An extinct volcano. I can't remember the name. Madeira's in one group, but there's another group of islands.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's annoying me now. But lots of Brits go there in the winter.
Trust me, Steve, it's annoying all of us. It's annoying every one of us. Laura says, last year an English friend of mine spent the winter in southern Italy with me. She never wore a coat. So I suppose southern Italy probably doesn't get very cold even in September or October or even December. So I'd imagine it still stays quite mild. I don't think they get snow in southern Italy. But I have to say one thing. I think that is a nice place to go to during the winter months. And this is something that a lot of people like to do, isn't it, Steve? They like to retreat. They like to go away during those winter months. Maybe during November and December, they like to stay away. Or even at the beginning of the following year as well. So it is common for people to go away and spend winter in a warmer place.
It is. Laurie, hello, Laurie. Said that in Italy the weather can be very different because of the latitude. You've got the southern, as you say, the north and the southern is separated by quite a lot of miles, so you can get very different weather in one part of the country to the other. Canary Islands, Tenerife, that's it, Lewis. Thanks, Lewis. That's what I was thinking of. The Azores. That's where a lot of Brits go. They go to Madeira as well, but Madeira is quite expensive. So if you want a cheaper holiday in the sun, Brits tend to go to Tenerife.
We went there, didn't we? We went to Madeira quite a few years ago. A wonderful place. I remember we went in the car, didn't we? We took a car and we went right up to the top of the highest point of Madeira. And suddenly we were in this thick mist. We couldn't see anything. It was the most amazing experience. So Madeira, a nice place to go. You have to be careful though. If you go to the capital, Funchal, you have to be careful because there's lots of people trying to sell you things, and some people can be a little aggressive as well. So that's the only thing I would say.
Francesco says that in southern Italy it can be around 15 degrees. So that's pleasant. You still need a jumper, but it's quite pleasant.
Yeah, I like that.
Australia. Yeah, Nisa, we could go to Australia. It's a bit of a long way to go, though. And you've got all the time difference and all the jet lag and all that. Whereas I prefer, go on. I prefer, stick to the same latitude, and you don't get any problems with sleep and things like that with jet lag.
I don't think I'm never going to do it. I'm never ever going to go to Australia. We had a postcard a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday it came. A postcard from Australia. However, the people who sent it arrived back from Australia last week. So they could have actually brought it with them. They could have carried it in their suitcase and then posted it here in the UK. But isn't that lovely? Thank you very much. People don't send postcards anymore, do they, Steve?
No, they don't tend to. They just send you a text or put pictures onto WhatsApp or Facebook now. They don't tend to send you. See, that was the old thing. If you wanted to show off to your friends, you would send them a postcard.
Yes.
But now people do that on Facebook and WhatsApp. That's fine. That's fine.
You might even say it's worse now.
I'd go to Australia if I could go first class, Mr. Duncan. But
Well,
even
yes.
then, so that's why Canary Islands are popular. Madeira is popular for Brits because it's the same longitude, so you don't have any problems with jet lag and things like that.
That's it. Well, Europe, anywhere in Europe, I'm quite happy to travel to. But to be honest, as you go further south, that journey becomes longer and longer. And I've noticed also, quite often, if you fly to the United States, they will often take a very weird route to get there as well. They will often go up and over. Now, I think this has something to do with the spin of the planet. As the planet turns, I think it actually allows them to shorten the journey. But I'm not sure how it works. But I'm sure if there's any pilots watching at the moment, can you tell me why you do that? When you fly your plane, you go sort of up and away and then round to get to a place that's that way, that's on that side. And to me, it doesn't make sense because you would think you would just go directly there. But I imagine it has something to do with the spin of the Earth or something like that.
I think it might be to do with, whose airspace you can go over some of the time. I mean, there are specified routes for aeroplanes, aren't there, to avoid hitting other... You would think they'd go straight there, but I don't think they can because I think they have to stick to certain routes. Certain countries don't want you flying over them.
But I've noticed that some
like
go
that.
straight across and some go up, and they're both going to the same place. So I find that quite interesting. It always fascinates me. I like looking on the internet, you see. There are certain websites you can go to where you can watch all of the aeroplanes in the world. Thousands and thousands of aeroplanes flying around at the same time. So I always find that quite fascinating, especially when you watch the routes that they take. They go some very strange ways. It's just after 3:00, Mr. Steve.
We seem to have chatted about random of things for quite some time. Now we're going to get down to the meat of today's live stream, the meat.
Yes.
As they say, we say here, if we say we're getting down to the meat of the discussion, it means the really important stuff, the stuff that we really intended to do all along.
We get down to the nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty, the meat of this live stream.
The crux of the show. We're going to get down to brass tacks. That's the other thing. We will have a quick break so I can drink some water. We will be back. We are talking about space madness as well, Mr. Steve.
Oh, yes, quickly. Marianne quickly says, she's going to Scotland. Do I need to do anything different but learning English? No, you don't. They speak English.
Although I have to say the Scottish accent can be a little hard to follow. So sometimes a person who is speaking English with a Scottish accent, they might speak fast, but also sometimes the words can all be mixed up as well. So if you don't understand someone, I always say this, if you don't understand what a person says, just ask them, could you say that again, please? Could you repeat that? I didn't quite hear you. And that is all you have to do.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. It's all English. They just a different accent.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, thanks.
I'm a big boy now.
English Addict is here with you. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the show. It's myself, Mr. Duncan, and also we have Mr. Steve here today. Mr. Steve is my special guest. He joins me every single Sunday. Even if I lock him out of the room, he still manages to climb through one of the windows and join us every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. We have a lot of things still to talk about, Steve. We are talking about smoking next. Smoking. Now, there is something I can say now. Mr. Steve and myself, we've never really taken up smoking. Now, I know you've tried it in the past, Steve, but I never have. There is something very, I want to say the word disgusting, but there is something very off-putting about the smell of cigarette smoke. I don't actually like it. But a lot of people have been talking about smoking because we are trying once again to ban smoking in the UK. Can you believe it? So there are people who believe that smoking cigarettes completely banned. It should be banned from everywhere. Now, it's interesting. Now, when we were in Italy, Steve, we both noticed this, that lots of people did seem to enjoy smoking. And there seemed to be a lot of people actually doing it. And also in Paris as well, when we were there.
But only outside, weren't they? I think there must be a ruling in Italy that you can't smoke indoors. I didn't see anybody smoking indoors.
No, that's it. Well, I think many countries now have a ban on smoking in public places indoors, which I think is very reasonable. But now the debate has moved to another area, literally, and that's banning smoking in all public places and spaces outside. So I suppose what they are saying, Steve, is the only place you can actually smoke is in the house, in your own private dwelling. And that's it. So it is interesting that the new government in this country have talked about it. And a lot of people are not very happy. But this is not the first time it's happened, because we've had this in the past. I remember a few years ago, governments in this country were talking about banning smoking completely. And of course, it's very hard to buy cigarettes now, isn't it, Steve?
Well, they're very expensive. I think they're about £20 a packet for 20 now in the UK. They're extremely expensive. But most of that is tax. And a lot of people have been arguing that because what the argument is that smoking's bad for you, and it's a burden on the health service because people get sick and then they have to go to the doctor and they have to go to the hospital and all that type of thing. But there's so much tax is actually collected from smokers when they buy it that it probably pays for all their treatment.
Yes.
Nevertheless, it still would be taking up places that other people who hadn't smoked could get, because there's a shortage of appointments. So yeah, I can see that it would free up appointments and places for people who didn't smoke. I can see that,
But
whether
the
it's paid for or not by taxes.
But what we're actually talking about is the banning completely
yes.
of doing it. So I think that's quite a big step. And now, if you want my opinion, now I don't smoke. I think it's not a nice habit to have. It's not very nice being near someone who smokes because their breath smells like an ashtray. It smells like that they've been eating the cigarettes. So I'm not a big fan personally. I would never date anyone. I would never want to be romantically connected to anyone who actually smokes. So that is that is a big deal breaker. Let's just put it that way. But nowadays it is hard in this country. In fact, they can't even display them in the shops in this country. They have to hide them away behind a big door. So if you ever want cigarettes, you have to ask for them. And then they have to open this big door to make you feel embarrassed and ashamed of having it. So that is the reason why they do it. It is a psychological thing, isn't it? It's making you feel slightly embarrassed.
Well, you and I have got the same experience. We grew up with parents that smoked. So for me, I mean, both your parents smoked. Certainly your mother did.
Wow. Yes.
And my father smoked heavily all his life. I mean, he smoked about 60 cigarettes a day. When I was a baby, when I was growing up, all through my childhood, if we were in the same house, Dad was just puffing away on cigarettes in the car. But to me, it was perfectly normal. My mother hated it, but it didn't bother me because I was used to it. I was used to smoke. In fact, even now, if I smell smoke in the air, it reminds me of home. It's a comforting feeling for me because it was always in the air. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't get something bad, when I was younger, asthma or something.
You still might.
No, it's a bit late now, I think, but yeah, I mean, I just grew up with it. The house was always full of it. I must have gone to school. My clothes must have stunk of smoke, but I didn't realise it because you can't smell it on yourself, and when you're a child, you don't know any different.
And the other thing to mention is back then, many people smoked. It was quite normal. So both of my parents smoked. My mother smoked like a chimney. She smoked all the time. Then suddenly she gave up. In her, I think it was her late 40s, she suddenly gave up. And that's it. She didn't smoke again. So it is something that is quite controversial. I remember when I was living in China, people promoted smoking as being good for you and a sign of strength and masculinity.
Yes, it was sexy. There's something about, isn't there? If you see somebody smoking, particularly, think about it for a minute. You must be the image of, you've got fire in your hands and smoke coming out of your lungs. It's almost like you're some kind of, ancient creature blowing fire and smoke. There's something quite masculine about it. I can understand the appeal, what it does. Advertising made a man look really tough and virile.
Well, the worst part of it, Steve, is it was the tobacco companies that encouraged Hollywood and the movie companies, the movie studios, to promote smoking in their movies, to make it seem cool. So they would sell more cigarettes. Not a very nice practice, and one that doesn't happen anymore.
And if you see somebody smoking now, they take risks. It still does have that effect of making, I think, somebody a bit attractive. Obviously, if you don't like, for example, you said Giovanni agrees with you. Hi, Giovanni. That you would never go out with somebody that smoked, never have a relationship with somebody that smoked. No, I don't think I would. But at the same time, I've known people that have smoked, and I don't know whether it would put me off. I think you wouldn't want to live with somebody all the time that smoked. But there is still something that makes somebody, you know what I'm saying. you're blowing smoke out of your mouth. It's almost like you're a fire-breathing monster. It's somebody to be feared. Somebody, there's something about it's quite odd. How it ever became popular, I'll never know.
Well, I've just told you. It was promoted by filthy tobacco companies and corrupt movie studios. That's how we all ended up smoking cigarettes. But of course, these days we have vaping, don't we? We have this artificial electronic smoking, which apparently is even worse for you. So we've basically changed one thing that's harmful for another thing,
which they say isn't harmful, but in 20 years' time will turn out to be extremely harmful.
Well, that's the thing. Well, the people who own all of the vaping companies are the same companies that used to own all of the tobacco companies. So it's basically the same people.
But of course, the point you were making, Mr. Duncan, is yes, has been banned inside buildings, pubs, restaurants, clubs, that sort of thing for a long time. And I remember when I used to go to nightclubs, pubs, the room was full of smoke, absolutely full of smoke. And it did become, after a while, you began to think, well, this can't be good for my health. And of course, it's been banned now. But now and you see poor smokers, you feel sorry for them, don't you? Well, you don't feel sorry for them. You sort of almost laugh at them. There they are in the pouring rain, in the freezing cold. In winter here in the UK, it's freezing cold outside. There they are outside the office buildings, freezing cold, puffing away on their cigarettes because they're not allowed inside. And pubs have got outside spaces, and now they want to even ban that. And I don't know whether they should be banning that, because smoking is declining anyway.
Yes.
Less and less people are smoking. If a group of people want to go outside into the open air and smoke, it's not affecting the people indoors. I can't see why that's so bad. Personally, I mean, they're going at it from the angle of it's clogging up the NHS with unhealthy people.
Yes, but that's just... But anyway, we don't want to get into all that, because then that's politics. And if there's one thing I don't want to do today, no politics today. Thank you very much. So, and also, Chihiro says, I've noticed the scent of marijuana more often than tobacco on the streets of New York City. This is true. If you walk around London, you go to Birmingham, many places, many big cities, you will smell illegal substances in the air. So I think you might find that there are more people smoking illegal substances than tobacco. So I think you might have a very good point there. But I think it's an interesting subject just to mention, because a lot of people have been getting so angry about it. They really have.
They have. Yes. Alessandra says, hello, Alessandra. I struggled to make my husband quit smoking. Well, yes, because it's my mother tried. I always remember all the way through my childhood, all the way to the point when I left home, Mum was constantly trying to get Dad to stop smoking. And it never worked, because it's a big addiction, very difficult. Dad did try a few times, but it never worked, because it's just a very addictive habit.
Yes.
He did stop eventually when he got cancer. He got cancer and then he stopped. But of course it was a bit too late, really.
It's a very good incentive to stop something when it's killing you.
Well, it's so addictive. I know people that have smoked, and I know people at work that smoke, and they've had friends that have died of cancer. They've had cancer, and yet they're still smoking because it is so addictive.
Yes.
Maybe it should be banned. Maybe it should be banned then.
Maybe not.
Do you ban alcohol? What way do you stop?
Yes. Well, you could ban everything, really. Everything's unsafe when you think about it. You could ban stairs in people's houses because people fall down them every year and die.
Well, so this is what there's...
Where do you stop? That's the thing. Anyway, Steve, we've got to move on because it's now 3:20. We've got about another dozen things to talk about, as usual. We should really make this live stream 3 hours long. I'm just thinking now, maybe we should extend it every week. Instead of 2 hours, it should be 3 hours because there's so much to talk about.
Yes, Nisar's right here. A lot of people, my father used to smoke because of stress. It sort of relieves stress. It's a habit. As soon as the phone went or Dad was doing anything stressful, he'd light up a cigarette first. It was like a calming effect. But that's just a habit. But anyway, yes. Anyway, yep.
It is like everything. You can become obsessed with certain things, which is the subject we are talking about today. In a few moments, we are talking about obsession, being obsessed, becoming obsessed by something, to have an obsession for something. It is possible to do that. So you might say that smoking cigarettes is a kind of obsession, especially in the morning if you wake up and you can't wait to have your first one. You might say the same thing about food. You can become obsessed with food. You can become obsessed with anything. So that is today's subject we are talking about in a few moments. Here's an interesting subject, Steve. A few weeks ago, I talked about some people in Russia who had decided to steal all of my video lessons and put them onto a CD or onto a DVD, should I say. So it was on DVD and they were selling them on the internet. Well, today I found the actual DVD itself. So
really?
A copy of the cover from the actual thing. And it led me to think about words that we can use when we talk about stealing things. For example, we can have the word pirate. Pirate, we can use it as a verb. So the word pirate can be used as a verb, which basically means to steal something or to illegally copy something and then sell it. So you pirate something. You take something that belongs to another person, you copy that thing, and then you sell it to other people yourself, thus making money. So the word pirate can be used as a verb. Of course, we can say that thing has been pirated. To pirate, or something has been pirated. It has been copied and it is being sold illegally. And of course, another word we often use, I like this word, bootleg. And this is a real phrase, bootleg. If you bootleg something, it means you steal that thing and sell it as your own. Or maybe you conceal something that you are selling that you shouldn't. So the phrase actually comes from many, many years ago. I think it was in the West, the Wild West of the USA. People used to conceal alcohol in the leg of their boot so others couldn't see it. I think it was when it was being produced illegally. So they would hide it in the boot leg, hence the phrase bootleg. That's why we call it that. Here it is then, Steve. Here is the cover, a copy of the cover of the pirated version of my English lessons. It's coming on the screen right now. And there it is.
Good grief.
So there it is. That is someone has gone to a lot of trouble to copy that and make it look like an official DVD. So this was actually produced, I think we are going back around 13, maybe 12 or 13 years ago. So this was produced. And a lot of people did write to me at the time and said, Mr. Duncan, do you know that there is someone selling your lessons on DVD on the internet? And I was always intrigued to find out. But I have to say, they've gone to so much trouble to make this look like a real DVD. I love even the little DVD symbol at the bottom. It's just to make it look real. And there's even a little menu on the back with all of the lessons listed on there. So I think that's amazing that someone has gone to so much trouble, even though I'm also slightly disappointed as well, because they have been stealing and selling my lessons.
So if we go to Russia, can we buy those?
I think you can buy it from the internet generally now.
That's surprising. You see, that's it. If we got lots of money to sue these people, we could. Well, you probably couldn't. You probably couldn't sue somebody in Russia anyway. But
Good luck with that.
but I wonder how much. I wonder how much money you're due in royalties, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah.
We didn't, Giovanni. We didn't solve this problem because you need a lot of money to be able to pursue somebody to stop this sort of thing, and it's just not possible.
No. The other thing is, well, it's also happening on YouTube. So there are many channels on YouTube that just basically steal my stuff and then upload it onto their YouTube channel and say, oh, look at these great English lessons by this man. Oh, aren't they great? And then whilst people are watching those, they're not watching me.
Hi, Lewis. Yeah.
See you later, Lewis. All the best for tomorrow.
Thank you for your wise words.
All the best for tomorrow, Lewis. So, yes, it happens on YouTube as well, Steve, all the time. My things are constantly being stolen from me and reused somewhere else. But do you know who the victim is? The victim is me, because it's my work. I created it, and then people take it away and they use it for themselves.
If anybody's watching who is a lawyer and wishes to help Mr. Duncan for free, then please let us know. Because I don't know how you would police that.
No, you can't.
Because if somebody's in Russia selling DVDs, I don't know how you're going to, you'd have to, I don't know how you're going to prosecute somebody.
Steve, you can't.
I know, exactly.
It happens on YouTube. YouTube is full of it. And there's nothing I can do about it because it's just hundreds and hundreds of people all over the place doing it. So you can't control it.
It's the same.
It's impossible.
It's the same problem musicians have, isn't it, with their music being being copied and.
Well, musicians don't make any money anymore. They make very little money from the sales of their music. Isn't that just incredible? So because they have agreements with other companies, normally big companies, they only get paid a very small amount per download of one of their tracks. So even big artists have been suffering over the years, and that's the reason why many artists, many pop stars, they will put on shows, they will go on tour, because that is where you make the money. The big money comes from touring and having the live events, like a certain group who this week it was announced that a group from the 1990s, who many people have almost forgotten all about, are regrouping and they're coming back and they're doing a tour. So that has been all over the place. But you do make more money from touring and putting on live shows more than actual sales of the music that you produce and you allow people to download. It's incredible. So everyone is complaining about it. So imagine what I have to go through. Imagine the hardship of being a YouTuber and people are just stealing your stuff everywhere and there's nothing you can do about it.
If you're rich and famous, you can do something about it, but otherwise you can't do very much about it. But anyway, that's that's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
And certainly YouTube have got no interest in helping you.
Well, no, because they have millions and millions of people on there, and it's just impossible. It's just too many. The number is too big. Steve, I was watching television a couple of nights ago, and there was a very interesting report on the television all about something that you and I are very interested in. Well, we have maybe not a keen interest, but we are interested in that kind of subject, and that is going into space. Space, or should I say, going into space, with my big echo. And that is a subject that has captured the imaginations of people over the last few days, because there are a couple of astronauts stuck in space at the moment on the International Space Station. They can't come back down because their return capsule has broken. So they're stranded there on the International Space Station, which to me does not seem like a good situation to find yourself in, if I was honest with you. So going into space has become a big thing again, hasn't it, Steve? Everyone's suddenly talking about it again. I think it's because of Elon Musk.
Yes, because as you say, there's 2 astronauts stuck in space, and every now and then Elon Musk always starts talking about how he's going to start a colony on Mars. Mars has been coming up a lot. So, by the way, Giovanni Rivetti has been very philosophical and has said to you that at least your good teaching and effort goes to a larger audience. So take it like this, Mr. Duncan, that your work has been, for the pirated videos, your work is going everywhere. You are known. You are helping people across the world. So that's the good way to think about it. But yes, going back to the space theme, there's 2 people stuck in space. There is a bit of a risk that they can't get them back. It's because
What they're saying, that they have to live there forever.
Not forever, but they don't seem to have any. It's 2 months. They've got to be there. They've got to be there till next year. They can't rescue them until next year.
They were only supposed to go there for 3 days.
That's it. I mean, what have you seen those pictures of them in space, Mr. Duncan, when they're on the news?
I do like the lady with the hair.
The effects of when there's no gravity, your face takes on a very different shape, and the lady's hair is all over the place. It's quite comical.
She looks like one of those characters from a 1950s horror movie.
It's very good if you want a facelift. Go into space, because everything goes upwards.
Of course, the question I always think to myself, whenever I see anyone on the International Space Station, one question springs to mind.
Pooing?
No, you said that, Steve, not me.
But that's what you were, because I knew it was that.
How do they go to the toilet?
We don't know. There's probably suction involved.
Apparently, I actually know. I'm not sure if I can say it on here. But let's just say it does involve pipes and tubes and cups. That's all I'm saying. I can't say anything else. I'm sure out there in YouTube land, I'm sure you can put all of put all those things together and come up with something that would be useful for that thing.
What do they do with the poo and the pee?
I don't know.
Is it released into space, or does it
Yes.
kept in a big container?
So I mean that there is enough space junk floating around, but now you have space poop as well.
You wouldn't want to go out on a spacewalk, would you?
No.
And get hit in the face by a lump of poo.
You can't come back in and you're covered in chunks of poop.
Well, it's going to freeze, isn't it? It's very cold up there.
Yes.
But I wonder I can't believe they just release it. They must keep it. But then if you're
What?
there for months on end,
But where are they putting it?
I don't know, maybe they've got a big tank. Actually, I don't suppose you produce for, maybe they recycle it.
I think this is a subject we shouldn't be talking about, to be honest.
You could recycle the wee, couldn't you, and turn it back into water.
Ugh. This sounds horrendous.
Well,
another reason not to go into space.
But the poo, that would be difficult to deal with in space. I can't believe they just release it. But maybe they do. Maybe they've got some way of burning it up or evaporating it, or there must be something
It's horrible.
that they do with it. I think they probably evaporate it into space, so the pee would be sort of water vapor, maybe.
Yes. But maybe they have a hole on the International Space Station. You just stick your bum out, and then
Maybe
it just floats away.
Yeah, maybe the poo is burnt or something. I don't know. If anybody knows, please let us know.
Yes.
We'd like to know.
We're getting
just to
told
clear
off
this
now.
up.
They're saying, Mr. Duncan, please talk about something nice. Stop talking about space poop.
Talking of Elon Musk, yes, X
Mm.
has been banned in Brazil, or as we used to call it, Twitter.
Yes.
Apparently, yeah, there's something quite interesting. That's another subject, isn't it? Freedom of speech, which we can do another week, Mr. Duncan.
Steve, we could do a whole afternoon
We
of
could.
that subject, to be honest. Yes, so it is interesting. Twitter, by the way, it's not X, it's Twitter. Everyone calls it Twitter. It's Twitter, it's not X, it's Twitter. Everyone calls it Twitter. People say, I sent you a message on Twitter. Did you see that thing on Twitter? I sent you a tweet yesterday. So everyone still uses that word. And yes, it has been. I think it's only temporarily, Steve. I don't think it's permanent. I think it's just for a short period of time. But
Have they criticised the Brazilian government? Are people criticising Bolsonaro? Is it the president?
It's the usual thing in any country where people have a little bit too much power. Sometimes they have to be stifled in some way. And let's face it, Twitter is a great place to go to if you just want to get your frustration out. You would love it. I think Steve would love Twitter, even though there is a lot of horrible content on there. Some of it really, really horrible and shocking. But I think, Steve, you would love it because on an afternoon when you are stressed from your job, I think you could have a lot of fun on there.
A judge removed it. Marcia says, of course, Marcia, as we know, is in Brazil. A judge removed it because he did not have, failed to comply with court order. Yeah, so maybe it'll get resolved. Don't quite understand that. AKA is here. Is it AKA or AKA? Do you mean AKA as in other words?
Also known as.
Also known as is what we abbreviate also known as. So, Mr. Duncan, also known as...
Mr. Duncan. Everyone knows me as Mr. Duncan. There is no human being on the planet who does not even in social situations. Can I just tell you, whenever we go out with our friends, whenever we go anywhere, or if we meet someone, what's the first thing people say to us? They always say, hello, Mr. Duncan. How are things with you, Mr. Duncan? And they don't just say it in a nice way. They say it slightly sarcastically. And this is the problem, you see, because you're on the internet and people see you and they realise that you like to be called certain things. And so people will say, Mr. Duncan. Hello, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, so if you say AKA, it means you've probably got two names. I'm trying to think of an example of somebody. If you've got a nickname at work, but your real name is something else. Say your name is Bob, but your nickname is I don't know, Ant, or I don't know. That's not a very good example.
Oh my God!
We
are really seeing the intricate workings.
I'm trying to think of an example.
So maybe if someone likes,
here
we go.
I was trying to think of, you could say a pop star often doesn't use his or her real name. So you could say what their real name was, also AKA Prince or AKA somebody else. Oasis, AKA, and then you name the people.
Steve, the artist formerly known as Prince, AKA Prince.
What about it means it. Yeah, well, I think we've explained it, but I can't think of a good example.
I'm not sure we have.
Anyway, AKA, what is your real name? Otherwise known as.
Okay.
Is I think what you mean there. But anyway, by the way, Giovanni says, have we seen any falling stars? Meteors.
Yes.
this summer. We did indeed.
On my birthday.
On Mr. Duncan's birthday,
Mr. Duncan.
on the 12th of August, the Perseid meteors are at their maximum. And yes, we went outside. It was a clear sky and we saw loads, about 8 or 9.
Yes, it was amazing. It was incredible. So yes, we have seen the
Thanks for remembering that.
We have seen the shooting stars.
Giovanni.
A lot of people asking about the thing behind me. They're saying, what's the thing behind you? So I wasn't sure what you actually meant, and then I realised that you mean this. You mean this. I think you're talking about this. So this, of course, is well, it says EA, English addict. So that is what it stands for. That is what it means. We've talked about so many things today, Mr. Steve. I can't believe how many things we've actually discussed.
Oh, by the way, Beatrice, we are going to get your. I'm going to get your. I keep meaning to do this every week, to get your lovely prints. I found somebody that locally now, somebody new because the other one closed down, who will frame the prints. And we will get those done. Found somebody now, so I'm going to take them next week, and we will show them when they are beautifully framed. Because Beatrice gave us some lovely prints when we met up in Italy, and so look out for that.
I will retrieve them from the waste paper basket.
No, they're still in your. Anyway, move on.
Anyway. Yeah, we've only got 20 minutes, Steve. I've got about 1,000 things to look at here.
1,000? That sounds a lot.
I'm sure there's something I've forgotten, but... Oh, public transport. We were going to look at public transport today.
Have we finished with space already? We could have spoken about space for ages.
Well, it was just a quick trip.
A quick trip?
We went up. We went up and then we returned back to Earth. It was just one of those short ones.
One of those short ones, yes.
Like Jeff Bezos in his little capsule.
Are they still going up and down? I haven't seen any. Are they? Jeff Bezos's sort of rather phallic-shaped spaceship, is that still going up and down?
I'm gonna have to edit this just to make it look as if the words are actually completing a sentence.
Well,
so. Here we go then. Anyway,
you know what I mean. You know what I mean. If you've seen Jeff Bezos's spaceship going up.
Yes, we've seen it. Yes, we've seen his rocket.
Yes,
he hasn't done one for a while. Not since William Shatner went up there. I think he may have done a Shatner in the capsule. I think he did a Shatner.
But the shape of that rocket is well. I'll leave it to your imagination.
No one else wants to go in there because William did a Shatner.
But he is nearly 100, so it's hardly surprising.
Oh dear. Anyway, we have a subject to look at, and we're going to have to do this so fast. If we do it fast, and then you can play it back later at half speed. So here we go, Steve. Talking about obsessions. The word today is obsession. Obsession. It's also a name of perfume.
I was going to say there's a perfume called Obsession.
Obsession for men. That's how the commercial used to go. It used to say, obsession for men.
Yeah, so if you put this... was it an aftershave? It must have been an aftershave or a cologne.
I don't know.
Men wear cologne.
Anyway,
women wear perfume.
Steve,
men wear cologne.
Steve, I don't want to tell you to stop speaking, but here we go then. The word is obsession. Obsession for men. The word obsession is a noun that means the domination. The domination of one's thoughts or feelings by a single thing. So we often use the word obsession. We might describe it as a psychological term, would you say?
Obsession? Well, I presume it is, yes. It's You can become obsessed with anything, can't you? A few people I noticed earlier said that they're obsessed with your channel. Yes, you become fixated. There's another word to use.
Anyway.
I expect you're going to go through synonyms.
Yes, it seems like you're just doing the whole subject yourself. The word obsession is a noun, so we're describing this as a noun. You might have an obsession for a certain thing. So you can have an obsession. In that case, we are using it as a noun. The verb form of obsession is obsess. So if you are doing that thing, you obsess about something. A person will obsess over something. So maybe a thing they are interested in. To obsess over one's cleanliness. And it is true, isn't it? So when we talk about things related to yourself, it is often possible.
Would you say that you are a person who is obsessed with their cleanliness, Mr. Duncan?
I have a bath every year.
That's true.
On my birthday.
That's true, you do.
But I don't like the water to get too deep because then I start to panic in the bathtub. So it's not very nice, really.
You can always take a shower.
To obsess over one's cleanliness, for example, you might be thinking about it all the time or worrying about it too much. The adjective form of obsession is obsessive. To have obsessive tendencies. So in that case, we are using that particular way of describing a person's obsession. They are obsessive about something. So that is a person's outward behaviour. You can tell that that person is acting in an obsessive way. An adjective form is also an obsessive nature. You might describe them as having part of their character, Steve. You might say that that person has an obsessive nature. I think you have a friend who's a bit like that, don't you, Steve? Who's a bit obsessive.
Who are you thinking of? Somebody I went to college with, you mean?
Yes, we won't say who, but just not deep details. I'm just yes or no.
Yes, I think
yes,
so. Yeah, I mean, some people do get obsessed with. If you say you're learning something new or you want to do something new, then that subject becomes all-encompassing, and you can become obsessed with it.
Yes,
and when you use the word obsession, it's usually negative, because usually
no, it's
well, often, because
you can be obsessed by. We are going to look at that later.
The suggestion is that you're doing it too much, probably in detriment to your health or something. But yes, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know whether that particular person is obsessed.
Tenerife.
I mean, they've got particular traits, like, for example, when they're leaving the house, they're always checking the lock to make sure. I don't know if that you would call that obsession.
But we're talking about that in a minute. To think about one thing over and over is obsess. To obsess over a singer or celebrity. So there might be a situation where you suddenly can't stop thinking about a certain person, maybe a celebrity, a well-known person, a person you admire very much. So perhaps there is a situation where you obsess over something. We often use obsession in general terms. To enjoy something or liking something, you might say you have an obsession for it. So you can use it in a kind of figurative way. You're not saying that you are crazy about it. You are just saying, oh, yes, I'm keen on that. I have an obsession. I'm obsessed with it. Even though you're not necessarily doing it to the point where it will cause any harm. So it is common for people to overstate the word obsession, I think. Taking something to an extreme level. Now this is the one, isn't it, Steve? some people take something to an extreme level. A hobby or interest can become an obsession.
Yes, it's easy to. Some people find it. I think that's part of your nature. People can have an obsessive nature, like an addictive nature. I think if you've got that tendency, you will tend to become obsessed with maybe a hobby, the way you do something, a person. By the way, if you become obsessed with a person, it's usually got connotations with you being, let's just say, attracted to them in some way. See, that can lead to stalking. It can lead to all sorts of things, can't it? Yes, but you kind of, yes, it just means you spend an awful lot of time thinking about that person, that thing, that hobby, whatever it is. I mean, Anarchy says here, I'm obsessed over phrasal verbs. Yes, well, that's it. It just means you've got a great interest in it and you concentrate and focus on it a lot. But that can cross over into a disorder. I'm not saying you can become, people do, don't they? I mean, if you become obsessed with a person, it becomes unhealthy because it just suddenly takes over your life, or a hobby can. Yes. People can become obsessed with washing their hands, can't they?
Yes.
To the point where they get sores on their skin and things like that, and they need some medical treatment.
So taking something to an extreme level, a hobby or interest, can become a type of obsession, to be mad about or crazy about something. You might be mad about trains or crazy about trains. There is a guy on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen him. I don't think Steve has, because Steve never uses social media for anything.
No,
but on
I
Instagram, there's this young guy, and he's absolutely obsessed with all things connected to trains. He normally goes to railway stations and he will talk in a very excited way about trains because he loves trains very much, and he will tell you all about that particular engine or maybe that particular type of train, and he gets really, really excited. So you might say that he is obsessed by trains or crazy about trains or even mad about trains.
Yeah, I think So I was going to say people use the word obsessed, but the word obsessed is, if you're obsessed with a person or obsessed with trains or obsessed with phrasal verbs, which Anarchy was joking about, it's you. That word is often used, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you really are obsessed. People, I think, often exaggerate and use that word. Because if you really are obsessed, that is quite negative and can be quite destructive. But people will use the word, I'm obsessed with cleaning. But it doesn't mean that they are so obsessed that they become sort of ill over it. Because normally you would do. If you were really obsessed, you might need treatment.
Yes.
But people say they're obsessed when they're sort of just very, very interested.
That's it.
Not really obsessed.
That's it.
But we often say it, don't we?
Yeah,
I might say I'm obsessed with Ford Mustangs. I mean, I'm not obsessed with them.
No.
I'm just exaggerating to indicate that I've got a strong interest in it.
Yeah.
So you can use the word obsessed, but it doesn't mean you're necessarily really ill over it, making yourself ill over it.
No. In fact,
or
I think
it becomes,
Oh, okay, Steve. I wasn't sure if this was a monologue or an essay. We've got 9 minutes to go, and we are talking about obsession, being obsessed about something or by something. So quite often people will say that, but they don't mean that they have any problem with it. They're just using it figuratively just to show that they really like it. We have, Steve, we've got to move on.
Can I just say something else quickly? You've got to be careful if you say to somebody, are you obsessed with something? Because that can be, they might say, what do you mean? I'm not obsessed. If you spoke about somebody at work and said, "Oh, isn't John? He's really nice." Say you kept talking about somebody at work, somebody might say to you, "Oh, are you obsessed with them?" or something, and you go, "No, I'm not." It could become something offensive, but that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. The term nerd, and I have to say I do object to this term. I used to be referred to it as a nerd in my younger days. A geek is another one, because I always had interests in things. I like to study or read or find out about new things in the world, and maybe it did appear as if I was slightly obsessed with doing that. So the term nerd, although I don't like that term, to be honest, he is a science fiction nerd. Okay, I suppose that's all right. If they're crazy about science fiction, we might describe them as a nerd. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Now, I like science fiction, but I wouldn't describe myself as a science fiction nerd.
No, you don't go to the conventions.
No.
A quick question here from Alessandra. It's a good question, Alessandra. Is the phrase "to have a one-track mind," is that the same as obsession?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good question.
When we talk about a person who has a one-track mind, normally it means they are always thinking about something that shouldn't be on your mind all the time. So quite often things to do with, don't say anything, Steve, please. Please don't say anything. So things between grown-ups, maybe kissing and cuddling and other things. Maybe that person thinks about it all the time and they can't get it out of their head. You might have someone say to you, you have a one-tracked mind.
Yes.
You are always thinking about that particular thing.
That's when that phrase is very commonly used.
Yes.
Say your husband is pestering you all the time.
Okay.
For...
No, Steve.
Oh, no, it's all right. I'm not going to say it, Mr. Duncan.
Yes, well, I've just explained it.
Pestering you for, marital rights, let's put it that way.
Love.
Then you might say to your husband, you've got a one-track mind, you have.
That's all you ever think about. That's all you ever think about.
You're only thinking about that. Yeah, that's what it's usually used for.
Yes.
But you sometimes people might, that's what it's usually used for.
It's never used positively.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's never used positively.
I mean, yes, you're right
okay.
in the fact that husband could be obsessed with you, wanting, that in a way that is an obsession.
Yeah.
It could be seen as an obsession.
Okay.
Might not be, but it could be.
Enthusiasm can become an obsession. Not and. That's my spelling mistake. I got too excited there, you see. Enthusiasm can become an obsession. So from being enthusiastic about something, you can become, over time, you can become crazy about it or too enthusiastic, you see. Obsession can lead to negative actions. So this is really what I wanted to end on with this subject. Because obsession, generally speaking, is okay. You might have something you really feel as if you want to do. Maybe you want to build something, or maybe you want to create something. Artists are often obsessive people because they enjoy doing that thing. They want to express themselves in their art. Van Gogh is a good example. He was obsessed with everything around him. He wanted to absorb everything and express it through his painting. So it is possible to have an obsession that can then lead to negative actions. You might become obsessed with a certain film star and then you want to be with them. You might follow them around, as Steve was saying earlier. You might follow them. You might hide and watch them from far away. I've never done that, by the way. I've never done it. Look, just because I have a very strong pair of binoculars that can see over hundreds of miles, definitely not. So a person might be stalking Mr. Steve,
Yes.
not stalking Mr. Steve, but they might be stalking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it could lead to that, couldn't it?
Mm.
It could lead to that. And we know many stars who have been stalked. There was something I was going to read out. I can't remember what it was now. I think it's been taken off the live chat, but it doesn't matter.
Mm.
Yeah, Faribort said something, but it's retracted the message. Yes, a romantic obsession can lead to a bad action. Yes, because your skills of other things have taken over, haven't they? And suddenly
They certainly
your
have.
balance, your ability to sort of see reason and things like that can be compromised.
Yes. So
If let's just say primitive urges are taking over.
Yes. Well, it's just even admiration, even if you admire someone, that can lead to obsession. So maybe you don't want to have a romantic relationship with them. Maybe you just want to be near them, just to feel as if you are close to them. You don't want to have any relationship with them personally, but you still might want to follow them around and take pictures of them from far away with a very long lens. I don't know. Some people could do that. I've had it done to me. I had stalkers. I had people that would stalk me when I was living in China. They used to follow me around. I used to hate that very much. Very annoying.
I know that's a good question, Fariborts. Yes. The phrase "to die for," that just means something is so nice. You're like a cake. Oh, that cake is to die for. It's nothing to do with the subject, but yeah, that cake is to die for. It's so good. You would eat it even if you knew it would kill you. It was so good.
What it actually means is something that you would even sacrifice yourself to taste or try. So you would give up your own life.
It's figurative.
To try that. But yes, it's figurative. So you wouldn't actually jump off the edge of a cliff if it was possible to have a nice big juicy McDonald's.
Usually used in the context of food. Quite commonly. Oh, that cake is to die for. It's so nice. You wouldn't, you've just got to taste it.
Yes. It just basically means you would give anything. I would do anything to experience that.
That pasta is to die for. It just means, we've explained it, but anyway, yeah.
So a romantic obsession can lead to a bad action, but not necessarily connected to obsession. Certain types of obsession are seen as a disorder. So this is what you said, Steve, earlier. You briefly said a person who finds that those thoughts of needing to do something can become intrusive. You can't stop doing those things. They become an obsession. So you might have something called OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, which it is possible to have. A lot of people nowadays feel as if they have it when they don't. So it is often used as a phrase, but they don't actually have it. If you have something that takes over your whole life, it means you can't do anything. So maybe you can't even leave the house without checking something, maybe again and again. Maybe you have to go around the house and you have to keep checking the windows to make sure they're closed.
Light switches.
And then you have to make sure that you've locked the door. You might go away and then go back to the house and check again. And then you walk away. And then, no, I have to check again. And you might do it 10 or 20 times. Or maybe even you don't even go out because you do it. And then you just feel so overwhelmed by the feeling that you do nothing. You go back into the house. So real, genuine OCD is something that takes over your whole life, and it does cause lots of problems. So it is something that can cause a lot of problems. Finally, Steve, obsession. We might describe a person who is obsessed as a fan. I think that's okay, isn't it? Fan. You can be a fan of something. So you enjoy it. You go to their concerts. You buy all of their music, even if it's rubbish. You you watch their movies. You buy their perfume, maybe. Maybe they have a line of clothing. You always buy those things because it has their name on it. A lover of something. You might be a lover of music or a certain type of music. Wild.
Ice cream.
Sorry, Steve?
You might be a lover of ice cream. Or, yes, particularly Italian ice cream or Italian coffee. Oh, I'm obsessed with it, with Italian ice cream. You could say that.
Good. Hello to Dr. Dakard, who is watching in Somalia. Hello, Dr. Dakard. It's nice to see you back again.
And I salute you too, Doctor. And that is a nice expression you've used there that we can explain. If you saluting someone, it's a thank you, isn't it? Thank you for what you've done. I salute you. Thank you.
Yes, it's a mark of respect.
A mark of respect, and which is what you would do, in the army or the navy or the air force.
Finally,
it's a mark of respect. Thank you.
Finally, Steve, before we go, you can be addicted to something. So, for example, you might be addicted to English. You might love learning English. You might enjoy watching my live streams or my video lessons.
You mean you might be an English addict?
You might be one of those up there, an English addict. Oh. So it is possible to become very obsessed or obsessed with something or by something. And guess what, Steve? We've managed. I can't believe that we've done all that today. We've managed to talk about so many things. We did not talk about public transport, but we are going to talk about that next week, because on Tuesday we have a new bus service starting in Much Wenlock. So it is a new service that is coming in on Tuesday, and I might actually go and try the new bus service on Tuesday. See what happens.
No doubt you will film it.
I might.
Beatrice says, I think you are both obsessed with lasagna. Yeah, that's true, because when we were in in Italy, everywhere we went, to any restaurant, we always tried out their lasagna.
Yes.
Because it was usually, it's much better than it is in the UK. So you could say we were a bit obsessed with lasagna. I mean, it's a joke in a way, because again, you're not saying we're really obsessed. It's an indication that we really like something.
Yes, we really, really like it very much. Well, I can't believe it. We have come to the end of today's live stream. It's gone by so quickly.
It's flashed by.
It's flashed by. Like my life when I fell over in Italy. My life flashed before me.
Never be afraid to ask us a question. Faribort said I didn't want to waste your time by asking the question about what to die for. No, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
Put the question on. If we've got time, we'll answer it. We don't always have time to answer all your questions, unfortunately.
And sometimes we don't know the answer.
Sometimes we don't know the answer.
If we
Lovely
don't know,
to be
by
here,
the
Mr.
way,
Duncan.
If we don't know, we just make it up.
We just make it up, yeah. Yeah, lovely to be here, Mr. Duncan. I'll go and put the kettle on, and I will toast you some hot crust bun bread that I made yesterday. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week.
Now, there is something I am definitely obsessed with. Thank you, Mr. Steve. See you soon.
Bye.
That was Mr. Steve. He will be back with us next Sunday, of course, from 2 p.m. UK time. Don't forget to look out for my lessons. There will be new English lessons on my YouTube channel. Please don't steal them. Please don't take them and use them somewhere else for other people. And certainly don't sell them. Please don't. Because I do this for free. I'm giving it to you for free. For nearly 18 years. Next month, by the way, it will be my 18th year on YouTube. 18 years. There are no English teachers on YouTube who've been doing this for 18 years. Just me, and the only one. Thank you very much for your company. See you later. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. It has been a very, very busy one. Thank you very much for watching. It has been a very busy day today. This is Mr. Duncan saying thanks for watching. I hope you've had a good day. Like this. If you like this, please do that. Give me a lovely like. Very nice. And I will see you very soon. I might be with you on Wednesday. We will see what happens. But there will be new lessons during the week. And of course, I will be back with you next Sunday as well. This is Mr. Duncan saying for the final time, thanks for watching. See you soon. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now. See you soon. Okay, that...